Thanks for accepting this invitation at this
Thank you.
interview. First of all, tell us about yourself.
I'm Father Dennis Kriz. I'm a friar servant of Mary. I'm 57 years old. I've been a servant of Mary for about 25 years. I've been ordained for about 23 of that. I've been stationed here at St. Philip Benizi for about 6 years. Been stationed here as pastor.
The Servants of Mary. Can you share something with us about this religious order? Who were they?
Okay, well, the Servants of Mary, they're a mendicant order. So they're in the same class as, say, the Franciscans and the Dominicans, Carmelites, as well. They've been around for 800 years, or close to 800 years. When I was entering, one of the vocation directors at the time, he had the slogan, "We've been around since the world was flat." And so it's for a long time. And yet also that, let's see, where our founders were 7. We're the only ones that actually have 7 as the number of founders. The Franciscans were, of course, at St. Francis, or Dominican St. Dominic. We have the 7 holy founders for us. And well, then community, it has been an important aspect of our life. And actually, then it might have also then had the effect that we've, unlike the Dominicans or the Franciscans, we stayed relatively close there to Italy. We went over the mountains, the Alps, twice into basically Germany. We also went along the Mediterranean Sea to Spain, to the coast of Spain. But really, until about 100 years ago, we really didn't go much further than that. Now we're everywhere, as it were. But what remains of that is that we remain a relatively small order, that there have never been more than 1,000 Servite friars at any given time. The result is interesting that you put 2 Servites together from any part of the world, and they will know about 50 people between them, and people that are not just the leaders, not just the big shots, but even just regular Servites, and so that's kind of cool about the order.
Yes, it is. So this religious order initially, it was born in Italy?
In Italy, in Florence, yes.
Okay. When did this religious order first came to America, to the United States?
They came in 1870.
1870.
And that was important because what was happening was that Italy was being unified into one country, but as a result, actually, the government that took over was very anti-clerical, and they suppressed, actually, in Italy, all the religious orders. So basically, if you wanted to be a religious order, you had to either meet secretly or flee. And the Servites kind of did both. So they met secretly in Italy, as it were. Most of them were for a while just simply diocesan priests for about 10 years or whatever, until the edict wore off. But also then there were Servites that went to first England and then to Canada and the United States. And that's how we got here around 1870 and started in Chicago.
As a pastor in this community, Fullerton, what has been the most rewarding experience over these years since you've been a pastor?
Well, I suppose just actually how we got through this particular crisis of the COVID. Though I suppose this parish is always kind of resilient. That even when we were under the tent, during COVID for a while, saying mass outside, we joked about it, and we said this is not the first time that this parish has been under a tent, because the church here burned down about 20 years ago, and there was several years before a new church was built, and so at that time the church was under a tent, as it were, and then now these last 18 months, the number of changes that we had to go through back and forth, it was a challenge, but it was just something remarkable of how the community at every step of the way was able to respond, and responded well. And even like, for instance, that tent that we had our first mass outside, and it was clear, well, we probably could use a tent. Well, at the end of that mass, as a parishioner came, okay, Father, how much do you need? And within a week, we, for the next Sunday, we had a tent. We had both a person to pay for the tent, and we had the people to put up the tent. So that was remarkable.
It was interesting, like how people were responding right away with this type of support, economical support.
Like economic and just in terms of gifts, in terms of talents. I mean, the music ministry really stepped up in both English and Spanish. I mean, James, the music director, did some wonderful, liturgical services, musical services on the, over Facebook and YouTube. The Spanish ministry started a whole alabanza ministry that continues to this day, that they broadcast not just here but also to Mexico and so forth over the internet. And so it was really, really, really nice.
It was interesting how is that this COVID situation was able to open like new doors, like from the media talking about the internet. People from home were able to watch, these celebrations in the church because they could not actually, be here, but they did it online. So,
and then again, the challenge is for a community to hear, because we celebrate Mass here in 4 languages in this parish. Not all the time, but English and Spanish basically all the time. And then twice a month we have an Indonesian Mass here, and we have a large Indonesian community. And we have then also now once a month, and going on possibly within the year or 2 years, twice a month a Filipino community too,
Tagalog.
and Tagalog. So with that, it's really so some of this, that our way of live streaming, which is both Father Sebastian and I simply putting up our cell phone, we connected the sound to the sound system, as it were, but it was that way because that when you're celebrating Mass on a regular basis in 3 or 4 languages, you'd have to pay the team to be there. That if you're doing this in one language, this is very easy. You can pick the Mass that you're going to broadcast and tape that, and you could have a team and so forth for that. But when you're saying to do this at least twice, and oftentimes 3 or even 4 times, for 4 different communities, that becomes very, very challenging. So, but we we stepped up. It worked. It worked. Yeah.
If somebody wants to be part of the community of San Filipenisi, I mean, what does this community has to offer for them if they want to become members, active members?
There's basically for every age group or interest. I mean, there's really in a sense a spot for you, and certainly we're open to making making the spots if they're not if they're currently not present. And we've did that again for the different ethnic groups. We certainly have some, but even then for the different age groups that we've. That a number of years ago when I first came here, it was clear that there was kind of a hole for the young families that wanted to be more active, or and there be things focused to them, and so we created it, and that's been going more or less fairly well, and again, I think it will continue to go well. Similarly, again with COVID, there were quite a few people who died in this parish, and so a whole ministry toward the widows, and also even bereavement ministry is something that we're really looking at. The widows luncheons we have now on a regular basis. The other one we're looking to do as well. That within again the umbrella of parish life, there's been a lot of things that we've done. We've done even like art things, that We have that again with music. There's things that can be done, to all sorts of activities and movie nights and stuff like that for the little kids and stuff. So there's a lot, and so pretty much, if you got an idea, there's a place that it can be done, and if not, I do think they have the support to be able to put to realize whatever vision you have. So it's a good place.
Well, there is plenty of room, I'm sure. All these ministries that you have mentioned, it will be like a spot or perfect room for them to join and be part of it.
Yeah, I've always, really for years have had the vision of the parish to be like that, basically the mustard seed that becomes the bush, which is big enough for all the birds to put their nest in there. And I really do believe it that a well-run parish is able to do that. And I think that certainly we're open here to do that. That we, to whatever talent, in as much as you want to use that talent here, that we will find a place, to use it.
Good. The last question will be as far as the support that you have in the community, how many other associates they're like teaming up with you to run this community?
Well, yeah, we are a community area. We have, in fact, there are three of us here as priests. That there's myself, there's Father Sebastian, and there's Father David. Father David is 83 years old. He's been here for 15 years. He used to be pastor here before, even though was it 10 years ago he stepped down, from that. So he's here, and he's serving in kinds of ways, very, very active, with a lot of the personal outreach and so forth. We also have Father Sebastian, who's one of the youngest guys in our order, and I'm very happy that he's here. And he's 2 years ordained, or 2.5 years ordained, and also has been doing some very, very good activities here as well. So we have an 80-year-old, a 50, late 50s guy, and then a 30-year-old. So that's pretty good.
It's a good
mix. Yeah,
it's a good combination of experience, of youth, and a great level of energy.
Energy too.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you very much, Father Dennis, for this interview, and
sure.
Have a blessed day.
You too.